Hi everyone, in today's video we are going to be interviewing Cody Green on his experience using his phone as a means of reality checking. Cody is a mental health advocate who is growing his platforms on both TikTok and YouTube. He has amassed over 1.2 million followers on TikTok, and he has some really amazing educational content on both of his platforms. Alright, so let's talk to Cody about his methods he uses for reality checking. Alright, so hello Cody, thank you so much for joining us again. Everyone, this is Cody Green. He is a schizophrenia advocate that you can find him by the handle Schizophrenic Hippie, both on TikTok and on YouTube. So thank you so much for being here, Cody. It's nice to have you.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so in this video today, we are going to be talking specifically about strategies for reality checking, and one in particular that you have found to be effective for yourself using your phone to reality check. Can you maybe start off by clarifying what it means to reality check and why this may be an important thing to understand for people who are living with schizophrenia?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I noticed when I started taking medication, and a lot of people with schizophrenia realize, is medication is great. It reduces symptoms, but unfortunately, you still might have hallucinations. And so, as disappointing as that was to figure out, I immediately wanted to start identifying ways for me to be able to figure out whether or not I was having hallucinations. And I think this is something that a lot of people with schizophrenia deal with. Just by using different techniques to identify hallucinations, it's able to help me realize if I'm talking to someone who is really there. And it also just makes me a little more comfortable in my day-to-day life knowing that I have these techniques.
So can you share with us what some of your techniques are for reality checking?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as we've talked about before, I actually have a service dog that helps me identify in my home whether or not I'm having hallucinations. The primary way that I check for hallucinations or reality check is by using my phone camera to identify if there is someone in front of me or if I am talking to someone who's really there. And it was something that kind of happened on accident. I was using TikTok more and more, so I was filming all of my life, all of the time, and I was having a conversation with someone and I pulled out my cell phone and I had the camera up because, like I said, I had been recording all of the time for TikTok. I moved the camera up and saw that the person that I was talking to didn't show up on my screen. And that's when I realized that I was in fact having a hallucination. And I started being able to identify that I could use the camera on my phone to check to see if the person I was talking to was really there. And so that became a really effective way of reality checking for me.
That's a really cool way to use technology to kind of do that, reality checking. Is it a technique that you use all the time or frequently?
It's something that became a regularity for me. Anytime I was having symptoms, I would pull out my phone. It became almost impulsive for me, and it's become a really effective tool because I use it all of the time, so much so that I've recorded people who are actually there. So it's one of those things where it's a really good tool. It's been awkward a couple of times when I just randomly start recording people in front of me, but it's been a really effective tool. And so it really obviously can be awkward or uncomfortable, but because it's been so effective, I continue to use it. And I've had to explain to some people around me why I do it. But a lot of people are really understanding when it has happened. And I never post videos if I do record someone who is really there. But some of my most viral videos on TikTok have been me posting these recordings because it's very real and people get to see firsthand what it's like having schizophrenia. They can see how frightened I am, how uncomfortable I am. And I think it takes away a lot of the fear that people have where they assume someone with hallucinations is going to be violent for some reason. But if you watch the videos I've posted of me having these symptoms, you can see I'm visibly scared. And so I think not only does it help people better understand schizophrenia, it helps them see what it's like living with it firsthand.
Right. I didn't even think of that, but that's a really wonderful way to like spread activism or I guess, or awareness, I guess, about schizophrenia and kind of dismantling some of those preconceptions that people have about people experiencing symptoms of schizophrenia being violent or, showing that we're actually generally pretty scared and confused by symptoms. So that's a really cool way of showing it. Do you use it just for visual hallucinations, or does it work for audio hallucinations as well?
I have used it for auditory hallucinations. It's not something I use as regularly as I do for visual hallucinations. And part of the reason for that is when I have auditory hallucinations, I've tried listening to music, I've tried watching TV shows. It's a lot harder for me to differentiate with auditory hallucinations. When I record auditory hallucinations, or I record what I think is auditory hallucinations and play it back, if I'm having auditory hallucinations, it seems like it kind of drowns it out a little bit. And so
Right.
that's been a little bit tougher for me. But it has been effective at times. I do use it occasionally. I haven't found it quite as successful in my own personal experience, but I know a lot of people with schizophrenia that do use it for auditory hallucinations, and it works really well for them.
Cool. Do you have any tips for others in terms of using phones or other technology to do reality checking?
I would say if you're going to use it as a way to check your reality, use it constantly, use it regularly, because it becomes almost an impulse where anytime you think you're having symptoms, you use it, and don't be afraid to use it. Like I said, there's times where you may record someone who is really there. There's times where you might have to explain what you're doing, but it's become such an effective tool. And it's allowed me to feel comfortable in any social situation, because if I'm doubting the reality of someone I'm talking to or the reality of a situation, I'm able to use that as a tool and instantly make myself feel more comfortable, or instantly identify that I am having symptoms and need to separate myself from that situation.
Right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your experiences with using your phone and different methods of reality checking. I think it's really valuable to hear from you about this. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Thank you so much again, Cody, for sharing your experiences and being on our channel today. We really appreciate it. I know I learned from you, and I hope that everyone watching did too. Again, Cody has some really amazing educational content and content around building awareness around schizophrenia on both his TikTok and his YouTube, and you can find the links to those in the description below, but it's at Schizophrenic Hippie. Thank you so much again, Cody, and thank you to all of you for watching as well. If you want to see more videos like this one, make sure to subscribe. And as always, wishing you and your loved ones good health. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.